Alright, what's going on, guys? Trev back again, here to bring you another video. This one's going to be doing my predictions video for next week's episode of The Walking Dead television series. Spoiler warning, of course, if you haven't seen The Walking Dead Season 6, Episode 10 yet. This one's we're going to be talking about Episode 11, which is kind of unnamed. The name I've seen for it out there online is Untie. So as usual, I'll put the links in the description for you guys. We have a promo and a sneak peek, but unusual to this episode, episode 11, we do not have an official name or description or anything like it. Like, we don't have a plot to base this predictions video on, which I usually like because then we can go through and break down, the title and the plot. If the title is Knots Untie, I mean, it's kind of obvious what that would mean. Of course, they're willing to give Jesus a chance. They're willing to untie him and give his story a chance, give him a shot. Because if he was really cold-blooded, he probably could have killed Daryl there with the gun when he was able to get his hands on the gun and shot. He didn't, so which is cool. So he does have, some conscientiousness, some empathy towards others there, and he's not going to kill people unless he absolutely has to. So he seems like a pretty good guy, even though they can kind of understand, he did steal from them and everything like that. But that's I think in the next world or the Walking Dead zombie apocalypse a couple of years in now, that's kind of commonplace for people to be fighting over resources or even trying to steal them from each other quickly because there just aren't that much. We get the sense that after our little time skip, maybe Alexandria is a little bit lower on supplies than it probably should be. The law of averages Rick talks about with maybe going on some more runs, checking some more places, trying to find food. They had a good amount in the truck, but now the truck is underwater. So unless they feel like going swimming, it might be a little tough to get some of those supplies out from there. Even though it might be worth a shot, depending on how deep it is. So with regards to the next part of the story, it looks like we're pretty much going to be seeing verbatim what's happening in the comic books in the larger world story arc. In this season, actually, aside from character relationships being kind of remixed and things like that, it's been very close to the comic book series version. I mean, if you look at the first half of season 6 and how everything ended up with No Way Out, very, very close, and we haven't had any additional storylines mixed in like an illness or Beth at the hospital or some of the other stuff they've kind of added in there to fill out the seasons. This season and aside from that part in season 5, they've been very, very close, and the pacing's been great. Gone through that story really quickly with the beginning of the Alexandria. So now that they seem to be maybe not running totally out of supplies, but starting to run a little lower on supplies, might be getting a little bit worried about it. Nobody's starving, it seems, but they're going to give it a shot. They're going to give Jesus a chance. And so what will he be telling? What will we be seeing based on the comic book series? Well, he comes from a community, and I've done videos based on this, so you can check out. And the promo and the sneak peek, well, the promo kind of shows us that he's from a community called the Hilltop, or at least in the comic book series version he is. TV series, I'm not sure, we'll see. They might remix it or do something like that. But he's from a pretty big farming community, which actually makes it a little bit weird that he was going to steal the truck from them because, well, I guess in some ways, because the Hilltop in the comic book series has a lot of food. They have a lot of farming area. They're not a very tough community in terms of fighters or anything like that, but they have a lot of food production with farming and that. So yeah, so that's a little weird that he would steal, but I guess maybe, again, like they might change that part from the comic book series a bit with him. So in the promo, we've got Jesus. He's looking at a painting at the beginning, which is fun. Then Carl says, "What the hell are you doing in our house?" He pulls a gun on him, which is kind of funny. And then you got the larger world story arc, coming to play. Him, kind of telling him that, there's a bigger world out there, and he probably knows about, a good amount. Like, he's just meeting them, but he knows about a few communities, so he's a really important character because he is a kind of a gatekeeper with regards to this bigger world that's out there and these other communities that are well established that he knows about. So he's going to be kind of the gateway to that for them, which should be good. So even though they lost the truck and everything full of food, it's probably going to turn out to be, well, maybe not in the short term, but in the long term, much better for them. So, all right. So we've got, if anything happens, if I whistle, shoot him, right? You've got some kind of house they're going into, this kind of deal. And Rick has brought a lot of people with him. You can see in the promo, there's quite a few there. He's brought, a good chunk of his fighters, like, I didn't count, but probably around, the usual group, right? The tough group that goes out there and does what they have to do. So we've brought them all with him, and which is going to be cool to see, just see them all together and everything, and that kind of deal. And that's basically it. Trev won't end well for you. So, similar in some ways to Aaron, when they first meet Aaron, and of course with him, it turns out to be great with Alexandria, and it even works well for the Alexandria people. With this one's going to be interesting to see how the television series version of this plays out. And the place he's bringing them to is a little bit strange. It's like it doesn't seem like it's the Hilltop to me. So and he also did tell them that he's not from a community, but Rick does notice that he's kind of clean shaven, this kind of deal, and that it wouldn't make sense that he'd be out there on his own all the time looking like that. So he must have some kind of camp somewhere. Yeah, so it should be good. So the sneak peek. So the sneak peek is kind of an awkward scene, which it's supposed to be, between Sasha and Abraham. And she kind of gives him a piece at the end. So everybody's getting busy after after No Way Out. But I guess if you think about it, when they see their life, almost come to an end, they all think they're dead. Then afterwards, they may not waste any time in doing the things they want to do, or the people they want to do. so they may not waste any time. So you got Abraham. He's talking to Sasha. It seems like she's switched shifts, this kind of deal, because maybe she wants to avoid him because she knows that he's been with Rosita. We're not sure if he's still with Rosita at that time. We can assume that he hasn't told Rosita anything, and nothing has quite happened. But Sasha's not going to be okay with being the chick on the side, obviously. So it's going to be interesting to see what happens with Abraham, and a lot of relationship stuff. We just had Rick and Michonne, which we'll do a video talking about probably on like I said, on Tuesday. And so this one too is Abraham going to leave Rosita for Sasha? Kind of seems like it. Interesting. So we'll see what happens with that. And I do like the scene. It's one of those kind of awkward moment type scenes where people are saying one thing, but there's so much more going on than behind it, and how they both feel kind of awkward and stuff. It's a perfectly awkward scene, so I like it quite a bit. So there's nothing else really right now that I can point you guys to. At the time of filming. That's basically all we got to base predictions on. So I think it's going to be another, a lot like episode 10, a little bit slower episode. Maybe they'll have to, this is pretty fast for them to end up at the Hilltop. I didn't think that they would get to the Hilltop already. I didn't even think construction would be done at this time in the Hilltop. So we'll see if maybe because of construction or something like that, they have to somehow, change things, or do something with the TV series and remix it to make Jesus not be the same as he is in the comic book series, or make him just be a bit different, or maybe not trust the group entirely or something. We'll see. It'll be interesting to see, because otherwise they're going to go through a lot of content really fast this season, so it's pretty crazy. So anyway, let me know what you guys think. Write your comments below on what you think is going to happen. I think it'll be a decent episode. Probably nothing major, no character deaths, anything like that. Kind of, the regular stuff. And enjoy these episodes too. These are great too. Great for building up the story to a new kind of climax, or new threats and that kind of deal. Be interesting to see if we'll see any saviors in this episode, because there is a part where Daryl says to Rick, what's that kind of thing? You see like a car is on the side, that type of deal. So it should be interesting to see, and see how much Jesus knows about the saviors and all that too. So good stuff. So write your comments below, guys. Let me know what your predictions are, what you think is going to happen. Send me your questions for the Q&A. Like I said, heads up for the Rashone video. And if you like this video, please thumb it up below. You can add to favorites if you want below. You can add through. You can share if you like. If you have like a Facebook page or Google Plus you want to share through, that also helps me out. I appreciate it. And if you want to subscribe to the channel, you can subscribe at the bottom left. That's it for this one. See you guys again probably tomorrow with a Q&A, or the next day. It's Trev. I'm saying peace.